Well, happy Monday to everyone out there. All right, today we're going to be talking about compound interest. It is different than simple interest, and this is really what we actually use with bank systems. And it says that the interest is added to the principal at a given time, called a term, and then recalculated to give you more interest in the next term. So, say for example, you put $100 into the bank, and you're going to leave it in there for 5 years. But with simple interest, it's just going to calculate the interest over the whole term and give that to you once. But with compound interest, what it's going to do is it's going to calculate the interest. Let's say your interest is $1 for the first year. Well, it's going to add that into your principal. So the next year, you're going to be getting interest on $101, meaning that you're going to make a little bit more interest and a little bit more interest. So again, that's the general idea, is that you're calculating the interest and adding it into your principal and then redoing the whole process over and over and over and over and over again. And the more times you do that, the more money you make. All right, so when it comes to the terms, there's some different key concepts and words we're going to be using. First one's annually. That's basically you're going to be taking your interest from the entire year and then adding it back into your principal and then recalculating again for the next year. So again, let's say you put in $100. At the end of the first year, let's say you made $5 in interest. Well, then that means year number 2, they're going to be calculating your interest off of $105 as your principal, whereas simple interest, it's going to do it again with $100. It's not going to be counting that extra interest that you earned. It's not counting that in. So again, it's definitely better. This is how real banks work. No one really uses simple interest for a bank account. It works this way. So again, term semi-annually means twice a year. Quarterly, well, quarter means 4, so 4 times a year or every 3 months. Monthly would be once or each month. That'd be 12 times per year. And then continuous, which would be infinite number of times. It means it's recalculating every second of the day all the time. And there's a special formula for that one. And that's honestly how a lot of good accounts work, is that special one called continuous. And that's a different day's lesson for that one. All right, so let's take a look at the formula itself, and we're going to do an example. All right, so formula, A equals P times the quantity 1 plus R divided by N to the power of N times T, where A is our final amount, which is completely different than the simple interest formula. Simple interest formula, the formula only gave you the interest. This is actually calculating our full ending balance. All right, then P is still your principal, how much you started with. R is still your interest rate. Now here's what's different. N is the number of times your interest is applied per time period or per year. So again, if it's semi-annually, that number would be a 2. If it's quarterly, that number is a 4. If it's monthly, that number is a 12. All right? And then T, that'd be your number of time periods elapsed, or how many years it's been. All right? So let's do an example. Say you're going to invest $1,200 at 5% interest, compounded quarterly, that's 4 times a year, for 5 years. So again, let's work through the simple interest formula first. That's the one we learned last week. I'm going to walk you through that one again, and we can do a little comparison. So if I'm doing the simple interest formula, if you remember that one, it's just principal times rate times time. That would have given me an answer of 300 in interest if I took the 1,200 times 0.05 times 5. And then my ending balance would then be the original amount, 1,200, plus the 300. So $1,500 if I did this in a simple interest. Well, with compound interest, I'll fill in the formula a little differently. My principal, 1,200. And then 1 plus, and now I'm going to do my rate, 0.05, that's 5%. And then divided by N, that's the number of times it's compounded, 4 times per year. That's from the word quarterly. And then my exponent will be that same 4 times 5, that meaning the number of years we're leaving it in there. And if I did this on my calculator, and yes, you can just type this whole thing on your calculator, you would end up with $1,538.44. Meaning, even though you did the same exact amount of money for the same exact time and the same exact rate, you made an extra $38.44 more than the other account. That doesn't seem like much, but if you start making these amounts of money a lot higher, like $50,000 or $100,000, like the amount you would have in a savings account or a retirement account later in life, then that number is way bigger, and it makes a humongous difference in your actual amounts. All right, so today you're just going to be working on using the formula, learning how to plug the numbers in, learning the best way to type it out on a calculator, and then on tomorrow we're going to start looking at some real-life situations and some story problem type things for this. All right, enjoy. Have a good day and good luck.